Do you have trouble getting your expectations to meet up with what you can actually get done? Well, this is a problem for most people, and it stems from how you see yourself. So stick with me, because this week I want to help you to change things around. Hi, this is Grant Herbert, leadership and sustainable performance coach. And today I want to continue our conversation around this shift of going from time to outcomes in your productivity by helping you to manage your expectations. Last week we started a conversation around how to get more done. We talked about the fact that most people look at managing time. And it's not something that you're able to do. It's within your control to manage other things, but not time. Time is something that you're not able to turn back, you're not able to get back. It's how you navigate the bandwidth that you have in your day, in your week, in your month, that's going to determine what you get done and how you're going to feel at the end of it. So, not being able to manage time, we talked about the three things that you can manage. You can manage your expectations, your environment, and your energy. And today I want to do a little bit of a deep dive on the first one, managing your expectations. Your expectations determine how much you take on. How much you take on determines how much you get done. So it's a vitally important place to start. There are two types of expectations that we want to talk about here. The first one is the one that creates the most problems, and that is the expectations you have of yourself. A lot of times you expect more of yourself than you've got to give. And the reason is it's linked to those three universal fears in the identity work that we did of not being enough, not belonging, and not being loved. So therefore, being able to make up for how you feel about yourself, those limiting beliefs that you have, those doubts that you have in your ability, the performance trap, the approval addiction, the imposter syndrome, all those things that we've talked about, they are the root cause of unrealistic expectations that you place on yourself. When you feel like you've got to do more so that you can get more, you've got to do more so that people accept you, that's where things don't line up. So the first step here is to look at the expectations you're placing on yourself. Are you setting yourself up to fail? Are you sabotaging your ability to get through the day feeling good and having the energy that you need to be everyone that you need to be in every area of your life? Are you trying to get the approval of other people so you say yes when you could say no? Expectations that you place on yourself are the first thing that I want you to take a look at. And in your day-to-day planning, as you go into your work, I want you to look at, what am I expecting from myself today? And seeing whether or not that's realistic. You can use the simple model that I've talked about before of for what purpose and at what cost. So when you look at the expectation you've placed on yourself, ask yourself that question: why? For what purpose have I placed that high expectation on myself? Now, if it's to challenge you, if it's for a positive reason, then that's okay. We can go to the at what cost in a moment. However, if it's feeding one of those identity issues where you're not feeling worthy and not feeling good enough, then that is going to normally create a state that's going to not only stop you from getting where you need to go, it's going to push you on the road to burnout. So for what purpose are you doing that? Then looking at what cost. So if I set this high expectation for myself, what's the cost of that? And making sure that you link that to your true priorities. What is that taking you away from? What is that chipping away from you that energetically depletes you? So that's the first area that you need to look at, the expectations that you have of yourself. The second area is the expectations of others and how you navigate those expectations. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is, for most people that I work with, the unrealistic expectations that they think other people have of them are all in their mind. Once again, feeding those limiting beliefs, those universal fears, the performance trap. So therefore, they think that people expect this of them when they don't. You know, it's like we've just had some new laws passed here in Australia where people have the right to disconnect. My experience has been that I've always had the right to disconnect. I've never had an employer that wanted me to be in my emails at midnight. That's a choice that I made. However, when I felt that I had to do those things to excel, to be out in the frame of view so that they considered me and whatever it was that I was trying to make up for in my low self-worth, low identity, then those perceived expectations of what I needed to do, they all came from me, not from other people as well. So look at that area first, and then looking at the expectations that people do have on you and navigating those with boundaries, with assertiveness, by speaking your truth. Once again, just like everything that we do, this goes back to building your personal power, being able to speak up, being able to help people to understand the expectations that they're actually putting on you. So let me give you a practical example of this. Let's say Bill is coming to see you at work, and Bill says, "Grant, I want you to finish this for me by Friday." And it's Wednesday, and you don't know how you're going to do that. So what you could do is just go, "Yes, Bill." And then as Bill goes away, think, "How am I going to do this? Bill's always giving me too much work to do," whatever it is. Instead of going, "Yeah, I would love to do that for you, Bill. Let me ask you a question. Which one of these other things that you wanted me to get done by Friday would you like me to put off until next week?" So what you're doing is helping the other person to understand the expectation that they are putting on you, because 9 times out of 10, they're just as busy as you are, and they've not realized that's what they've been doing. So having a conversation, bringing clarity to the people who are putting these expectations on you of what that actually means. So really important to work on the expectations that you have of yourself, the perceived expectations that you think other people have, and then the actual expectations, and being able to speak to all three of those in a way that helps you to make decisions that are good for you. You see, productivity is all about getting more done from your own efforts. Yet, if you are being pulled back by expectations, you're not going to get as much done. So it becomes counterintuitive when you're trying to please people and get their approval by doing all this stuff, but you end up letting them down, and what you thought was happening could even come true. So getting a healthy balance in the expectations that you have will help you to be able to not only get more done, but enjoy the journey along the way. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week as we continue this conversation around productivity by helping you to manage your environment. I'll see you then.